Kale had always loved the quiet of the asteroid belt. The small mining colony where he lived was dull, dusty, and forgotten by the rest of humanity. Ships rarely visited, and messages from the Galactic Council came weeks late, if at all. To most, life here seemed meaningless. To Kale, it was a place full of secrets waiting to be discovered. On this particular morning, Kale floated through the belt in his small scout craft, scanning rocks for valuable minerals. His sensors beeped steadily, marking the usual chunks of iron and silicates. But then a strange reading appeared. A faint, almost rhythmic pulse coming from deep within a dense cluster of asteroids. Curiosity surged through him. Kale had heard stories of ancient ships lost in the belt centuries ago, relics from a time before humanity had left Earth in earnest. Most of these stories were dismissed as myths or exaggerations, but something about this pulse felt real. He adjusted his course, moving closer to the source. As he approached, he saw it. Half buried in rock, an enormous ship lay dormant, its surface dark and covered in dust. The design was unlike anything Kale had ever seen. It had smooth, flowing lines, almost organic in shape, with faint, glowing patterns that pulsed softly. The ship was massive, far bigger than any vessel humans had built. Kale's heart pounded. "It can't be, this must be one of the legends," he whispered to himself. With trembling hands, he docked his scout craft at a side bay that seemed to open almost instinctively. The moment he touched the hull, the ship vibrated faintly as if it were alive. "Hello," Kale said, his voice echoing inside his helmet. There was no reply. He activated his external lights and slowly made his way inside. The corridors were vast and silent, lined with strange, glowing symbols. His boots clicked against the metallic floor, and the air smelled faintly metallic, clean, and ancient at the same time. At the center of the ship, he found a chamber with a massive control console. As soon as Kale approached it, the symbols on the walls began to shift and glow more brightly. Then, a voice, calm and deep, filled the room, not from a speaker, but directly inside his mind. "Human Kale," the voice said. Kale froze. I'm Kale," he whispered, unsure if he was imagining it. "You are the chosen one, you must listen. A threat approaches. Your species must survive." Kale's eyes widened. The voice was not alien in the way he expected. It was not hostile. It was instructive, patient, and full of purpose. He staggered backward. "Chosen what threat? I don't understand." The voice explained slowly, showing him images directly in his mind. He saw stars burning out, planets consumed by invisible forces, civilizations reduced to nothing. The pulse he had detected was not just energy, it was a warning. A cosmic intelligence was moving across the galaxy, leaving destruction in its wake. And it was now heading toward human space. Kale sank to the floor. This can't be real, I'm just one person." The ship seemed to sense his doubt. "One person, one mind can change everything. You will not face this alone, but you must act. Prepare your species. Humanity's survival depends on your understanding." For hours, Kale wandered the ship, trying to comprehend its purpose. It showed him schematics of ancient technology, star maps of unexplored regions, and glimpses of past civilizations that had once been protected by the ship's creators. These images were overwhelming, but a strange sense of destiny began to settle in him. He was no longer just a miner, a forgotten human at the edge of space. He was part of something greater. The next day, Kale returned to the colony. He tried to explain what he had found, but his fellow colonists were skeptical. "Another legend," one of them scoffed. "You've been out there too long, Kale. That ship is probably just a hollow rock." Kale shook his head. "It's real, I saw it. The ship, it spoke to me. It warned me. We are in danger." They laughed, some nervously. Kale's words sounded insane even to him when he said them aloud. But the memory of the ship's voice, the images it had shown him, burned in his mind. He knew it was real, and he knew he had a responsibility. Over the next few days, Kale secretly returned to the ship. Each time, he learned more. The ship's AI, or whatever it was, taught him to interface with its systems, to understand alien technology, and to interpret star maps that showed the approaching threat. It gave him visions of the future, of humanity standing alone against a vast, consuming force, and the choices that could lead to survival or annihilation. Kale began to notice subtle changes in himself. He understood complex alien systems almost instinctively. His mind worked faster, making connections he never would have considered before. The ship didn't just teach, it awakened something within him, something that humanity might need when the time came. Then, one night, the ship showed him a vision that made Kale's blood run cold. A dark mass, larger than any fleet he had ever seen, moved silently through space. It consumed everything in its path, planets, moons, even stars. Its intelligence was clear, and it recognized patterns, strategies, and life itself as obstacles to its goals. And it was coming toward Earth. Kale realized he had to act. Humanity could not wait for help from distant allies. They were still seen as a minor species, barely worth noticing. If the cosmic intelligence arrived unopposed, they would be destroyed before anyone else even knew they existed. He spent the next weeks preparing. He scavenged parts from the colony, learning to combine human technology with the ship's alien systems. He worked alone, improvising weapons, shields, and communication devices. He trained himself, mentally and physically, using the simulations the ship provided. Every night the ship guided him, tested him, and pushed him further. Kale was no longer just a human. He was a bridge between humanity and something far greater. But the burden was heavy. Kale often stayed awake for hours, haunted by visions of destruction. He wondered if he was truly capable of facing what was coming. He missed the simplicity of mining asteroids, of the quiet life he once had. Yet every time doubt crept in, the ship reminded him, "You are not alone. You are human. That is enough." Then, one morning, as Kale floated through the belt, he noticed movement. Small, sleek ships appeared from the shadows of asteroids. Alien shapes, unfamiliar and menacing, moved with precision. They had detected the ship. They had detected him. Kale realized that the awakening of the ancient vessel had consequences he hadn't considered. Humanity's secrets, their dormant potential, were no longer hidden. Others in the galaxy were aware, and not all of them were friendly. Heart pounding, Kale activated the ship's defenses for the first time. A low hum filled the chamber, lights flared along the hull, and a protective field surrounded them both. The alien ship scanned and hesitated, confused by technology far beyond their comprehension. "This is only the beginning," the ship said. Its voice, calm but urgent, echoed in Kale's mind. "The universe is watching. You have awakened, Kale. Humanity must awaken with you." Kale gritted his teeth. The weight of the universe pressed on him, yet for the first time he felt clarity. He was not just a human lost at the edge of space. He was a guardian, a protector, and perhaps the first spark of hope for a species underestimated by the galaxy. As the alien ships retreated, puzzled by the ship's defenses, Kale made a silent promise to himself and the ancient vessel. He would not fail. Humanity would survive, and he would uncover the secrets of the ship, no matter how dangerous the path became. In the darkness of the asteroid belt, a forgotten ship had awakened, and for the first time, one human held the knowledge and the warning that could change everything. The stars above seemed quieter now, as if holding their breath. And somewhere in the vastness of space, a shadow moved, an unstoppable intelligence that would soon test the limits of Kale, the ship, and humanity itself. Kale floated in silence, staring at the glowing panels around him, feeling the weight of destiny settle like gravity. He did not know if he was ready, but he knew he could not turn back. The galaxy had spoken and he had answered. The journey had begun. The asteroid belt was quiet again, but Kale's mind was anything but. He floated in the control room of the ancient ship, eyes fixed on the glowing panels. Every night, He dreamt of the dark mass approaching human space. The alien intelligence he had seen in the visions was closer now, and the urgency pressed on him like a weight he could not shake. The ship, silent for hours, suddenly hummed softly. A voice, calm and deliberate, filled his mind. "Kale, your training begins." The ship guided him through exercises that were both physical and mental. At first, Kale struggled. The movements were unfamiliar, the puzzles impossible. But the ship was patient. It adjusted the simulations, pushing him just enough to fail, then guiding him to the correct path. "You are learning faster than expected," the ship said, almost with pride. "Humans adapt. You will need this." Kale realized the truth in the words. Humans had always survived in harsh conditions, outsmarting stronger creatures and overcoming impossible odds. That same resilience, combined with the ship's guidance, was now shaping him into something more. For days, Kale trained relentlessly. He learned to read alien symbols, understand complex star maps, and operate the ship systems. He could manipulate energy shields, navigate faster-than-light jumps, and even understand the basic principles of weapons far beyond human design. Every skill he gained made him feel closer to the destiny the ship had promised, but also more aware of the danger. Then the ship began to reveal its history. It was not a human creation. It had been built by a long-extinct civilization whose purpose was to protect emerging intelligent species from existential threats. Humans, the ship explained, were on a path that could one day make them pivotal in the galaxy. But that path was not guaranteed. Kale listened, awe filling him as visions of countless civilizations flashed through his mind. Some had thrived with the ship's guidance. Others had fallen, devoured by forces too powerful to fight. Humanity's chance was fragile, and Kale was the key. One day, while studying an alien tactical interface, Kale detected a new signal. It was faint, coming from deep space, but unmistakably intelligent. Other alien ships, were moving toward him. They had detected the ship's awakening and Kale's presence. Panic rose in him, but the ship's voice cut through. "Do not fear. You are underestimated. That is your advantage." The alien vessels were sleek and deadly. Kale could see their patterns and formations, but they were moving with confidence, expecting easy prey. He smiled grimly. Humans were weak in their eyes, but humans were unpredictable. Kale began to improvise. Using the ship's energy fields, he created illusions of multiple vessels, masking his true location. He guided the ship through tight asteroid clusters, using their knowledge of gravity and debris to outmaneuver the attackers. The aliens were fast, but Kale's ingenuity, combined with the ship systems, kept them at bay. It was the first time Kale understood the true power of human creativity. The aliens followed predictable strategies. They assumed the same logic applied everywhere. But humans, adaptable and daring, thought differently. For 3 days, Kale avoided capture, moving the ship deeper into the belt. Each time, he learned more about the alien tactics. He observed, analyzed, and countered. By the end of the 3rd day, the attackers gave up, confused and frustrated by a human they had dismissed as insignificant. Kale allowed himself a brief moment of triumph. He was human, and he had survived. But the ship reminded him that this was only a test, a small battle in the war to come. As he explored further, the ship revealed hidden chambers, storage bays containing ancient technology that had never been used. Kale marveled at devices that could manipulate gravity, generate massive energy bursts, or cloak entire structures from detection. The more he learned, the more he realized humanity had barely scratched the surface of what was possible in the universe. One night the ship showed him a vision more terrifying than anything before. The alien intelligence he had seen before was closer than expected. It had begun consuming systems, leaving nothing behind. Entire colonies had vanished. Humanity's home system was directly in its path. Kale felt a pang of fear. He had grown stronger, smarter, but he was still one person. Could he really protect an entire species? The ship answered before he could ask aloud. Your strength is not in numbers, Kale. Your strength is in unpredictability. Humanity's mind, your mind, is the key. You will not face this alone, but you must prepare, gather allies, inspire others. The galaxy is watching. Kale spent the next week scanning human colonies, trying to warn them, trying to prepare them. Some laughed at him, dismissing his warnings. Others were curious but skeptical. He realized that part of the challenge was convincing people of what they could not yet see. Humans were stubborn, but stubbornness could be a strength if guided correctly. He began teaching small groups, showing them what the ship had revealed. They learned to understand alien technology, basic tactics, and resource management on a scale far beyond their usual experience. Slowly, Kale saw the spark of understanding in their eyes. He was not alone. Humans were beginning to rise, but Kale also knew he could not delay. The alien intelligence was advancing rapidly. He needed more than human colonies to prepare. He needed allies in the wider galaxy. And that meant taking the ship out of hiding, a dangerous decision, but one he had no choice but to make. The next day, Kale initiated the ship's warp systems. He had learned to navigate the stars using the ancient maps the ship provided. He set a course toward a neutral system known to harbor ancient knowledge and potential allies. The ship hummed, responding to his commands. For the first time, Kale felt not just like a human using a ship, but a commander, a protector, a force capable of challenging fate. As they jumped through space, Kale thought about humanity. Weak, fragile, underestimated, yet full of potential. The galaxy had ignored humans for too long. Now, with the guidance of the ancient ship, humans could rise, proving that adaptability, courage, and creativity were forces no alien intelligence could fully predict. But Kale also understood the dangers. Every jump, every exploration brought them closer to the alien intelligence. And when that force arrived, there would be no room for error. One misstep, and humanity could be erased. The ship guided him to a hidden system, a place where ancient knowledge was preserved. Massive structures, floating in orbit, contained libraries of information, weapons designs, and defensive strategies. Kale marveled at the scale and complexity. This was civilization-level knowledge, hidden from the galaxy for millennia. Kale worked tirelessly, integrating the ship systems with the resources of the hidden library. He experimented with new technologies, creating defenses, communication networks, and energy grids. Slowly, he built a foundation that could one day resist the alien intelligence. Yet every day, the visions of destruction grew closer. Kale began to realize that the threat was not mindless. It was intelligent, adaptive, and aware. It could study patterns, anticipate moves, and exploit weaknesses. Humans, with their unpredictable thinking, might be the only species capable of surprising it. Kale spent nights staring at the stars, thinking about Earth, the colonies, and all the humans who had no idea what was coming. He felt the weight of responsibility like a physical force pressing on him. But for the first time, he also felt hope. Humanity was underestimated, yes, but that was exactly why they could survive. Their strengths were invisible to those who assumed they were weak. As Kale worked, the ship spoke again. Prepare, Kale. The intelligence will arrive soon. You must be ready to act decisively. The first encounter will set the course for the rest of humanity's history. Fail, and all is lost. Succeed, and humans will rise as a species the galaxy cannot ignore. Kale nodded. He did not fully understand everything, but he knew the truth of the ship's words. Humanity had survived countless threats on Earth, from predators to natural disasters. Now they faced the ultimate test, and he would be the one to lead the first stand. The first real challenge would not be a battle of strength, it would be a battle of mind and courage. And Kale, trained by the ancient ship, armed with alien knowledge and fueled by human determination, was ready to take that first step. The shadow of the alien intelligence was closer than ever, moving silently through the void. Kale stared at the star-filled darkness ahead, knowing that soon humanity would face a test unlike any before, and he was ready to show the galaxy what humans could do. In that moment, Kale understood the truth. Humans were not weak. They were unpredictable, clever, and resilient, and that above all was what could turn the tide. The journey had only just begun. Kale floated in the bridge of the ancient ship, his hands steady on the controls though his heart raced. The alien intelligence was near. Its presence stretched across the void, an invisible shadow that devoured everything in its path. Entire colonies had already vanished, leaving nothing behind. Humanity's home system could be next. The ship hummed softly, its lights glowing in rhythmic pulses. "Kale," it said, "the time has come. You will make the first stand. What you do now will determine the future of your species." Kale took a deep breath. He thought of Earth, of the scattered human colonies, and of all the people who had laughed at him when he first spoke of the threat. They had no idea what was coming, and yet he knew humans had strengths no alien intelligence could predict: courage, creativity, adaptability. That was their edge. The first signs of the alien fleet appeared as faint distortions in space, like ripples in a dark pond. They moved with precision, sweeping through the system with terrifying speed. Kale activated the ship's defense systems, feeling the power of the ancient vessel surge beneath him. Shields raised, energy fields rippled outward, and weapons, far beyond human design, powered up. He had learned to combine human ingenuity with the ship's alien technology. He had improvised, adapted, and experimented. The defenses were unlike anything the alien intelligence expected, and that would be humanity's first advantage. Kale opened communication channels, sending messages to the human colonies. "Prepare. The threat is here. Follow my lead. Trust in your strength in your minds. We are human and we will survive." Some colonies responded, confused but willing to help. They rerouted ships, armed what weapons they had, and reinforced their defenses. Others ignored the warnings, dismissing them as impossible. Kale knew not all humans could see the danger yet, but he had to start somewhere. The first wave of the alien intelligence entered the system. Kale observed its pattern: precise, relentless, and adaptive. It expected humans to react in predictable ways, to flee, to surrender, to be weak. But Kale was neither weak nor predictable. He had trained, learned, and thought like no other human alive. He executed his plan. The ship's energy fields created false targets, masking real positions. Humans aboard scattered ships mimicked these movements, using deception and improvisation to confuse the invader. The alien forces hesitated, unable to process the unpredictable maneuvers. Kale's mind raced as he adjusted strategies in real time, blending intuition with alien technology. The first battle was brutal. Energy blasts lit the void, hitting shields, ricocheting, and sometimes exploding harmlessly against the ship's defenses. Kale directed his human allies with precision, coordinating attacks and evasive maneuvers. Every move relied on adaptability, something no alien intelligence could fully calculate. Despite the chaos, Kale felt a surge of pride. Humanity was fighting back. Their courage, combined with ingenuity, made them more dangerous than the alien intelligence had anticipated. They were underestimated, and that mistake could save them. The battle raged for hours. Kale's ship moved like a living entity, reacting instantly to threats. He had learned to trust his instincts, the ship's guidance, and the unpredictable nature of human thinking. He exploited gaps, created traps, and lured parts of the alien fleet into areas of concentrated energy fields. In the midst of battle, Kale glimpsed the intelligence itself, a dark, shifting presence moving like liquid shadow. It observed, adapted, and attacked with terrifying speed. Kale realized this would be no ordinary fight. This intelligence did not fear, did not hesitate, and did not forgive mistakes. Yet, Kale also noticed something the intelligence had not anticipated: hesitation in its calculations. It expected humans to be predictable, but humans were not predictable. They improvised, they took risks, and they acted with courage that defied logic. That was humanity's secret weapon. Kale adjusted the ship's systems to exploit this. He used human creativity to redirect energy pulses, trick sensors, and lure parts of the intelligence into traps. Slowly, the alien forces began to falter. Confused by the unpredictability, they could not maintain coordinated attacks. On the surface of nearby colonies, humans rallied. Pilots who had never faced real combat took initiative, using the few weapons they had to defend stations, reroute energy grids, and provide critical support. Their efforts were messy, uncoordinated, but strangely effective. Every human mind added something the alien intelligence could not calculate. Kale realized the truth. Humans were underestimated not because they were weak, but because their strengths were invisible to those who relied solely on calculation and predictability. Courage, ingenuity, and adaptability, these were forces stronger than any weapon. Hours passed. The alien fleet, though vast and powerful, began to retreat, unable to process the chaotic, human-led defense. Kale pressed forward, guiding his ship, coordinating human efforts, and ensuring no unnecessary losses. Humanity had survived the first wave, but victory came with a cost. Several human ships had been destroyed, and many colonies had sustained damage. Kale grieved for those lost, but he knew the fight was only beginning. The alien intelligence would return, stronger, smarter, and more aware of humanity's potential. The ship spoke again, calm but urgent. "You have succeeded, Kale, but this is only the beginning. Humanity has shown its potential and the galaxy has noticed. The intelligence will adapt. You must prepare further." Kale nodded. He had seen the power of human courage and ingenuity. He had witnessed what a single human, guided by an ancient intelligence and combined with the collective strength of humanity, could achieve. But he also understood the scale of the challenge ahead. He spent the next days repairing the ship, coordinating with colonies, and sharing knowledge. He trained humans in the use of alien technology, teaching them strategies that combined human unpredictability with advanced systems. Slowly, a network of defense and knowledge spread across the system. Humans were beginning to awaken to their potential, realizing that they could survive, adapt, and fight back. One evening, Kale stood on the observation deck, looking at the stars. The alien intelligence had vanished for now, retreating to analyze, to learn, but its presence lingered like a shadow over the galaxy. Kale understood that it would return, and when it did, the challenge would be greater than anything humanity had faced. Yet, Kale also felt hope. Humanity had survived the first encounter. They had learned that courage, adaptability, and intelligence were more powerful than brute force alone. The galaxy had underestimated them, and that was their advantage. The ancient ship, silent beside him, pulsed softly. "Humans are unpredictable, Kale. That is your greatest weapon. Use it wisely. Prepare them, guide them, inspire them. The universe will remember what you do here." Kale clenched his fists. He would not fail. Humanity had survived the edge of space, defied expectations, and now had a chance to prove itself. The stars were vast, the challenges immense, but humans were ready. The shadow of the alien intelligence would return. And when it did, it would find a species that refused to be erased, a species that had learned to fight, adapt, and endure. Humanity was no longer weak. It was clever, brave, and unpredictable, and that was something no intelligence could fully overcome. Kale felt the weight of responsibility, but also a sense of pride. He had awakened the hidden legacy of the ancient ship. He had guided humans to stand against impossible odds. And he had shown that even in the darkest hours, human ingenuity and courage could shine brighter than any star. The first battle had been won. But the war for humanity's survival and its place in the galaxy was only beginning. Kale turned back to the ship's controls, ready to continue his work. He would train more humans, explore ancient systems, and prepare defenses. The alien intelligence was out there, moving, calculating, but humans were ready to meet it. For the first time, Kale understood the truth that had driven him since he discovered the ship. Humanity had always been underestimated, and that, more than anything else, would ensure their survival. The stars stretched endlessly ahead, full of danger, mystery, and possibility. And Kale, with the ancient ship and the spirit of humanity behind him, was ready to face whatever came next. The galaxy had learned a new lesson. Humans were unpredictable, and unpredictability was power.